Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here, and many Magic the Gathering players have asked the question, do Wizards of the Coast employees who are privileged to certain information about sets while they're being designed and cards while they're being printed and tested use it to their advantage because it's effectively insider information and buy up singles that they are 100% sure are going to skyrocket because of future releases of sets? Well, I guess it's time for a well thought out video where I come to a conclusion at the end after many points and counterpoints and evidence. Oh, this is my channel, so I'm just going to blurt out the answer and then explain it later. Yeah, they almost definitely do. There's pretty strong evidence. So a lot of stuff in this video is hearsay. I don't have like an example of somebody getting caught doing this, but it's like so heavily suspected by everyone, and everyone seems to like know somebody who heard this, that word has gotten around that it's almost definitely true. I mean, I have heard that there have been outright admissions from former employees at Wizards that this sort of behavior is okay. So let me just first give an example of what I'm even talking about. I mean, everybody who works in card design at Wizards and R&D, playtesting, maybe a couple other places, they make the cards before the cards come out, and they see the cards before the cards come out. I mean, even members of production like QA, they get the cards before they come out to make sure that they look right and are printed correctly and are of proper quality. I'm not convinced that it's less of like a person and more of like a cardboard cutout that says, "Hi, I'm the head of production." But in general, some people get to see the cards early. Now let's say you get to see Ultimate Masters early. Well, it'll tell you, hey, if you have a copy of Tarmogoyf, sell it. If you have a copy of Snapcaster, sell it. They're about to go down. Well, that more saves you from losing money, but how can you make money on the information? Well, let's say somebody at Wizards of the Coast saw Guilds of Ravnica ahead of time because, duh, it's their job. And they thought, it looks pretty good. Selesnya looks pretty good. Everybody loves good Blitz, which, by the way, that's kind of back. I mean, some people are playing it. It's still pretty good. Well, pretty good in that it just took first place in the 2018 World Magic Cup. But let's just say you were able to, out of the 5 houses and 5 major mechanics or whatever in deck archetypes, say, yeah, that's one of them. Well, I wonder what goes in that. Ajani Planeswalkers. Legion's Landing. I mean, I'd say Saproling Migration, obviously, but that's a common. I mean, those don't go up. Obviously, History of Benalia. Now, not the best example because they were already pretty high. I mean, I'm sure they went back down to being a little bit low and kind of went up and down, but it's not the best investment if you got to buy them for like 15 and sell them for 20 or whatever. And, well, what else is in that deck? I mean, Amara, that's from GRN. Trostani, that's from GRN. Venerated Loxodon, that's from GRN. I mean, it really comes down to, are there actually opportunities? Because you'd have to say, okay, this is going to be one of the best decks out of all the things we're printing, so you got to be better at predicting than people who have seen them in play for a week after release, because even at that point, nobody can predict what will be absolutely the top decks. Then you have to find cards that are good in that strategy that aren't from the set that hasn't come out yet. Then it has to be a rare mythic. Then you have to buy them up without people figuring out it's you, and you have to do it on a website where you can buy more than 8. Like, for example, Card Kingdom limits you to 8 because buyouts are BS. I assume they just don't want to encourage that behavior. But there's eBay, there's Card Shark, there's other websites. Oh yeah, TCG Player, obviously. But it seems like such a long shot, and somebody would have to be really good at predicting, and if they're that good, they could just do it after the release. They don't even need advanced information, right? Well, the second that I saw the spoilers, I was like, okay, is it as broken? And it turns out it is broken. Maybe not like at the last World Magic Cup or something on December 16th, but you look online, I mean, MTGO stats, you look at Arena, one of the hardest decks to beat is just Izzet Drakes, and they have in the past been really high ranked out of their tournaments. So it's definitely tier 1. It's just, this time around, have we settled into that? Oh, actually, it did come in second at the World Cup, so hey. But I and anybody with a brain saw that deck coming a mile away. So, let's look up all the cards that could possibly be good in that are also rare or mythic from the past sets. Yeah, or just buy the lands. Everybody knows that in Standard, the rare dual lands are what go up the quickest if a color combination or a guild, a faction, a shard of Alara, whatever, become popular. So all you gotta do is look at something before it's printed and be like, wow, that looks pretty darn good. I bet you that Sulphur Falls from Dominaria will shoot up in price. Oh, surprise, they're $12 right now. A month before the release of Guilds of Ravnica, that was a $4.50 card. So that's a hell of a margin. So, assuming you had to get rid of it on eBay or TCG Player or something, or, sell it on a buy list for like 70%, whatever, you could still go about 2 to 1 if you predicted it ahead of time. So if we can all agree that yes, the right information ahead of time would allow somebody to make money, is it feasible? Is it realistic? Well, you could go to TCG Player or Card Shark and buy 500 copies of a card, and if it came from 50 different vendors, would any of them know that you're buying 500? Probably not. Would TCG Player know? Yeah. With the sheer number of buyouts and the fact that they wouldn't really care if you have advanced information or not, would they even give a crap? Probably not. What would even be the motivation for them to stop you? So the site owners of sites like this could catch you. eBay wouldn't bother, I'll tell you that right now. I mean, on eBay, you just hit add to cart and individually, well, you pay, but then it splits up the payment between all the people and they don't know what you actually ordered total. And they would certainly have no motivation. So is it realistic to do without giving yourself away? Yeah, probably. Well, assuming you don't pick up like 36 copies from one person, but even then, that's not that many, and most people don't have that many more to sell. Most people don't have like 200 copies of Sulphur Falls to sell, or Jade Light Ranger. Then it comes to liquidating or selling them. Well, one, would you want to mask your address? Oh, that's hard, because you're like, oh, somebody might recognize my name because I work at Wizards. P.O. Box. Then when it comes to moving them, you just put as a return address your P.O. Box, make up some business name or whatever, and hop on eBay or just whatever. Even for buy lists, I mean, you could have a family member do it. It sounds like a big elaborate song and dance to do all this stuff, but it's really not. It's pretty simple. It's not on the order of like some giant criminal racket enterprise thing. It's just not. So is the information timing there? Yes. Is it easy enough to actually pull off practically? Yes. Now all we're left with is, do they do it? Well, the rumor, and remember this is all rumor, is that Wizards of the Coast does not have a policy against employees using like insider information to manipulate the singles market, because they're not legally allowed to mention the singles market or secondary market, or that the cards individually have value. If they internally had a company policy where when you work there, you sign something saying something about buying and selling on the secondary market and that you can't do it, that would acknowledge it. And they can't do that for legal reasons that I'm sick of repeating. Just trust me, there are reasons. But from what I've heard, even if they did, they wouldn't enforce it. And plus, the level of effort it would take for them to enforce it, they'd almost have to be working with the vendors and like checking zip codes and volumes and patterns and all that to just be like, oh, stop making a tiny amount of extra money. Which, I mean, okay, it probably wouldn't be a tiny amount. It'd probably be thousands within S. But I had heard from a friend of a friend that some former employees have admitted, yeah, it's pretty much like well known that everybody does it if they can have some advanced information or leak something to a friend of theirs or family member, or they themselves take advantage of it. They'll do it, and Wizards doesn't care because they either don't want to put in the effort to catch them, or, and this is the funny thing, it's because they know they don't pay their employees enough. So it's like part of your benefits package are being able to manipulate the market if you so choose. Once again, unconfirmed rumor, but allegedly ex-employees have confirmed something like this. Now, one thing that would be a lot more beneficial, but I had heard Wizards does not like this, they do have a policy against this, is just telling, big single sellers, maybe not like, the vendors you've heard of, but like people who run like an eBay or TCG Player account that's pretty big, they just sell them the information when a reprint set comes out. They're just like, hey, you might want to ditch this, and this. They're all going to be printed as Mythic, and they're going to crash in price 50%. So maybe get rid of yours now. Maybe post them for sale at all instead of holding them, or, mark them down 10% or something subtle like that. And the thing is, we're constantly seeing that right before cards come out, people slash the prices, and it's before spoilers come out, I should say. I mean, just look at like the TCG mid on a card that's about to be reprinted. You look back in time and somebody somewhere seems to know something and they drop the price. Where did they get the information from? Well, I know certain people who, because of their jobs and their positions, have to have that information ahead of time. And I also know that people in that group have been caught leaking information to the public. Or not, well, I think one person leaked it to the public because they wanted to expose the group who was leaking it to just select people. So this isn't just if this will happen, oh, maybe it'll happen. It's like, no, it happened. It's just a question of how widespread is this and who's doing it. I mean, the one thing that I for sure heard that almost everybody at Wizards does, and once again, total rumor, I don't have proof of this, is if they use MTGO, as soon as the list of the rares and mythics from a reprint set start floating around, they will find every copy they own of them and sell them off because it's about to just take a huge dive in price. So bare minimum, pretty widespread that people just save themselves money, because why wouldn't you? You can't just go home on MTGO and be like, should I sell this card or not? Well, I know for a fact it's about to have its price cut in half. Like why would you not? Nope, I'm going to actively lose myself $100 on principle. No, come on. That's why it's theorized and rumored that that happens. So at the end of the day, do we have any hard evidence? No, although if you do have hard evidence, please leave it in the comments section. I'll make sure to pin it. But the word on the street and the general consensus among the community, as accurate as it may be, because it could be just all suspicion and paranoia and there have been one or two bad examples and that's it, but or it could be completely widespread. You never know. It's one or the other. But if you talk to anybody who's been in the community long enough or no single sales and that kind of stuff and ask them, hey, do Wizards of the Coast employees use information that they have ahead of time? Unequivocally, the person will probably say yes. So some people, when I tell them about this, they're just shocked. They're like, what do you mean they actually do that? Why wouldn't they? Of course. Yeah, what's going to stop them? Why would they stop them? I mean, it's all these questions. Yeah, it is what it is. Get over it. I mean, I hate it, but there's way more shady crap that goes on with just distribution of paper Magic cards and who gets what for what price and why and how much. It makes anything Wizards of the Coast staff is doing or, potentially theoretically doing look not that bad by comparison, trust me. It's all crooked. When money is involved, it's crooked as hell. It's just like the sports card world where, on eBay you get a 30-day return. Somebody will speculate on like 8 copies of a really expensive rare card, or I should say potentially future expensive card that they think will go up. And when it doesn't go up after 25 days, they'll just file a return and say, I don't know, I changed my mind, or the card was defective. Oh, it's bent, it's not in the condition you said, and really they just want their original price back because the card either crashed or it didn't go up like they thought it would. That happens all the time. And because of eBay's BS policies, there's nothing you can do about it. So like I said, if money is involved and things are being sold for money and it's dynamic and goes up and down, someone's going to screw with it. So personally, do I think that this is a widespread problem among a large number of employees at Wizards? Yeah, I actually do. But to reiterate, there's no hard proof or evidence that they do it. It's just either theory or it's following the logic, like, yeah, they probably do it, or maybe there is evidence floating around. I don't know. I've just never seen it. Sparing a couple examples. So thanks for watching this wonderful, cheery video. I just figured, yeah, it's kind of a downer, but I mean, it's interesting if you didn't know about it. And I will see you guys next video.